So this is part two to what I was saying earlier, the upload I just put up. The addiction to the characteristics that you're unaware of. How do you end up getting addicted to these characteristics? Well, this is why it's assertive within parenting, because your parents are supposed to protect what they know you to be. But what ultimately happens is you go through these things and you agree. When you agree, it's like a contract. It's a silent contract. It's like a secret contract within yourself. When this new thing comes over you, whatever it is, whether it's negative or positive, you sign that contract. You invite that into yourself. We were taught that levels of good and bad exist for everything, and that's not particularly true. Levels of good and bad access for things outside of you. As far as now, I'm not talking about illness. We're on characteristics right now. So outside of you, yeah, you're gonna see good and bad characteristics. But what divine gave you from the start are yours. And what you're supposed to do is cultivate that. So good and bad don't particularly fall on that if you're just learning it. You know what I'm saying? Like you going through a stage and you're learning. So if you're staying on that path, then you're basically cultivating what's yours from the start until you're in. But we never get a chance to do that. So we have to go through the things that we go through in life, and we get to a certain stage where we realize this is not the direction we wanted to go to. And the only way you can get back, and some people call it shadow work, some people call it whatever they want to call it, but you go in yourself. But that part where you stop at, you stop there. And then you start meditating, you focusing, you're looking for something. You got what you're looking for, that thing that you feel the need you need to find is you. So then this is the part where you go back inside yourself and you find the smallest memory of you, the youngest memory of you when you were conscious of that memory. The youngest memory of yourself when you were conscious of that memory and how you particularly felt, those energies, what you saw, what you were downloading, who you were at that moment. Remember that person and start from there. What happens is these contracts that we sign with these characteristic traits, they come through pressure or pain. And the pressure, pain, or i.e. the value of something good, we don't never put good in the same basket as negative. We just put them as counterparts. And they are counterparts when they're served. But the energy of them are both the same when they are not being given. So we have to keep in mind of the incremental value of everything that takes place in order to know its functions and why it's particularly functioning. So ultimately, something good can happen that can shape your characteristics too, but that also pulls you away from what you are. This world is not based on divinity, it's based on physicality. So everything is based on the good and the bad, the weight of the fraction, the hot, the cold, the indifference. Everything is built on this fortuitive understanding towards these concepts. What we don't understand and we don't keep in mind, you may know it, but you don't keep this as a forefront thought, is that divine is not of this world. It's a spiritual concept. Spirituality has nothing to do with your physical understanding. This is the need to strengthen the conversation in between the two. So these characteristics are being formed to you out of the physical understanding, which is overlaying or putting on top of everything spiritual that you would possibly be in the belief of self when you're young, because that's where your power is when you're a kid. It's the belief of yourself. You don't see the regards of failure or trouble or pain. You don't see that as a kid. The people who go through life and put it down, that's all they see on you. They don't see divine energy. They see that you're small, they see that you're incapable, and they see that you possibly can deal with pain. These things that we subsequently do is our fears that we are reflecting at that moment or projecting at that moment. This is the addiction. You have to go back to yourself and imagine if you were to grow those particular belief energies in yourself up until now into a subsequent value. Yeah, we see a lot of people every day and we see examples of what life is, but all these people never had the understanding or the privy to have the understanding of the value of what's actually possible for the chosen people. And this was the need for others to put themselves in the same bracket. Just because you walk on two legs and you can look me eye to eye does not make you a king. It doesn't make you a child of. If I stand a pig on two legs, does that make him human? If I put a crown on a dog's head, does that make him a king? The world has ways of disguising the value just to make you subsequently accept or settle for the particular value because of the emotional content. This is where we get the effort from. Well, I don't care. Or I just do whatever I want. These values are self-serving, but they're not serving to the spiritual self. Self-serving is only physical, and it's remembrance of the physical attributes of how you feel, particularly to things that are hitting you, i.e., outside of yourself, your physical understanding. I have to be very mindful of that because it's bonded with the spiritual. How selfish can I be to one and not the other? Give it all to my physical and don't give none to my spiritual. It's very selfish. When I'm carrying these two parts, and the spiritual is what started me off, it was the belief in oneself. Think about that. Let that marinate around for a little bit. Most people may listen to this and not even care. That shows the level of addiction of where you are. What about my priorities? What about this? What about that? Yeah, you're going to question these things because you never grown what you possibly could be from which your belief system. That belief was taken and other beliefs was put onto you until you buried that belief. This is integrity. These are your practices that built this integrity, that made you forget everything that you was as a child. The child was the start. That was the seed. When it came out, it had a way. It had a thought pattern. The only thing you were supposed to do was guide that thing so it didn't kill itself, stab itself, not change its narrative. That was supposed to be illuminated. That's what you want to do? Great. How are you going to do it? Remember that. Write those things down. Keep them. I would keep them because those are great ideas. Just saying. We don't give enough to what's real. We give everything to what failed us. Think about it. You want somebody to go out here in the world and be prosperous, but every emotion in yourself is giving to your failures because of your characteristic. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm just trying to show you. I ain't trying to control you. I ain't trying to mow you. I'm gonna let you go because I ain't even trying to hold you. Naga.